Grief and loss were common themes among films in 2016, and no film captured those with more tragic beauty, more gorgeous heartbreak, or more delicate poignancy than A Monster Calls. Based on Patrick Ness's incredible novel, the film tells the story of a young boy named Connor, who is watching his mom get more and more sick every day. Add in the bullies at school, a harshly cold grandmother, and a nearly absentee father, and you could say Connor needs someone to lean on. Which isn't exactly what he gets when a monster shows up at his window. Buried somewhere between the harsh cold of reality and the comforting warmth of fantasy, A Monster Calls deals with grief and loss unlike any film I've ever seen, with morally gray life lessons, a fantastically macabre imaginary friend, and an emotional climax that will leave you sobbing long after the credits roll. There are no shortage of studies on grief glowing on the silver screen this year, especially during this award season, but none of them pack the punch of A Monster.
I wish I had 100 years. 100 years I could give to you. I'm afraid.
Of course you are afraid. But you will make it through. For this is why you called me. Come on.
Okay, so let's exchange information.
Information?
Yeah.
Let's exchange
All
information.
right, we get out of the glove compartments.
Okay, I'm a Gemini. My favorite color is petal pink. I like long walks and kittens.
Few films were as brutally cold, harshly unforgiving, or audience divisive as Nocturnal Animals, and for good reason. It's an amazing film about terrible people, and it makes you question who you are that you can't stop watching them. The story follows an art gallery manager played by Amy Adams, who receives a new manuscript from her writer ex-husband played by Jake Gyllenhaal. From there, the film splits into two narratives: Amy's life as she continues to read the weirdly violent and strangely familiar novel, and the story of the novel itself, entitled Nocturnal Animals. Usually once a year, I'll have to label one of my year-end favorite films with the "this movie isn't for everyone" warning, and Nocturnal Animals earns that honor this year. It's a cold, nasty, and violent film about cold, nasty, and violent people. It leaves you worse than when it finds you, but somehow manages to find stark beauty in the grotesque horror, and then questions who could ever enjoy such a thing. If you are one of those who managed to enjoy it, you're likely seeing what I saw: a spellbinding study of carelessness, betrayal, loss, and to the best degree I've seen in a while on film, revenge. The thriller inside of a thriller story structure adds a unique element of morbid mystery, with the final resolution being as harsh as the rest of the film earns the right to be.
Nobody gets away with what she did. Nobody.
Shut open that door!
There's a woman.
Open the door. It's okay. I want to come inside.
She looks hurt. She wants me to let her in.
Can't help her! No one can!
No. No. Oh my God, I'm fine. I'm fine. Please, I'm okay.
She's begging me.
Do not let her in!
Nerve-shredding tension, palpable claustrophobia, and unnerving mystery all meet at the crossroads of this quasi-sequel to the 2008 original film, Cloverfield. A young woman awakes from a car crash to find that she's chained in the bomb shelter of an apocalypse-fearing fanatic who claims that he saved her from a world-ending catastrophe that awaits just above them. Is he insane or actually right? The final answer, which is spoiled by being unnecessarily labeled as a sequel to Cloverfield, is less important than the journey, which is a horrifyingly unbearable labyrinth of anxiety anchored by an Oscar-worthy performance from the always underrated John Goodman. The film is a simple study of how great writing, powerful performances, and earned tension can blend together to deliver some of the year's biggest thrills, leaving you, much like the characters themselves, out of breath and wondering what comes next.
Something's coming.
He's got 6 bullets.
For real?
We all go at once.
Guys, hold off a sec.
For what?
We haven't done anything. Doesn't matter.
Okay. They're called cartridges. The bullet is a part that enters your brain if you keep talking shit. And this gun only has 5 cartridges, not 6. 'Cause they're big as fuck and only 5 fit the cylinder. So please, shut the fuck up and don't test me.
As brutal and horrifying as any movie you're likely to see this year, Green Room is a simple yet unforgiving glimpse at what America looks like when you turn down that back road. A slice of life that's so rarely brought to light quite like this on film, making the final product all the more powerfully unsettling and grotesquely satisfying. Green Room tells the story of a young indie band called the Ain't Rights, who, out of desperation, take a last-minute gig playing for a white supremacist club in the backwoods of Oregon. When one of the members accidentally stumbles upon a murder in the Green Room, they're locked in while the neo-Nazis figure out how to properly dispose of them. The film is, to say the least, not easy to watch. Often horrifyingly graphic and unflinchingly brutal, it pulls no punches and handily earns its R rating, but never lets the violence overwhelm the nail-biting thrills, surprising intelligence, and undeniably great performances from its ensemble cast, including one of the final performances from the late Anton Yelchin. The film is a cruel testament to the capabilities of animals when they're backed into a corner, and a disturbing reminder that there's no animal on the planet more dangerous than human beings.
This'll be over soon, gentlemen.
Do you have any idea what it's like knowing my real brother and mother spent every day of their lives looking for me? Huh? How every day my real brother screams my name. Can you imagine the pain they must be in not knowing where I am? Huh? 25 years, Luce. 25!
The best films work to convince you that what you're seeing could actually happen, and it has to work extra hard when it comes to the incredible film Lyon, because if this weren't an unbelievable true story, you'd never believe it. Lyon tells the, believe it or not, true story of a 5-year-old boy named Saru, who after getting on the wrong train ends up nearly 1,000 miles away from his home and his family. After fighting to survive on the streets, he's ultimately adopted by an Australian family, and years later, we find him happy, healthy, and established, but still determined to somehow reunite with the birth family that he lost. It's hard to imagine that even the coldest hearts wouldn't be moved to a tear-soaking breaking point by the emotional toll that Lyon takes on its viewers. Never veering into the realm of manipulation, the film roars with authentic performances in front of the camera and remarkable filmmaking talent behind it. The blend turning out a nearly unbelievable journey of determination and strength, which will forever stand as a testament to the power of family, however you define the word.
Every night I imagine that I'm walking those streets home, and I know every single step of the way. And I whisper in her ear, I'm here.
They need to see me.
Dr. Banks. She's walking towards the screen.
That's a proper introduction.
While countless blockbusters have shown us how aliens would destroy our most popular landmarks, few have asked, how would they talk to us? That question, as layered and complicated as it is just the beginning of what makes Arrival one of the year's best films. Amy Adams, in one of her best performances, plays an expert linguist who is brought in to help the US government communicate with newly arrived aliens who've popped up all over the planet. What this leads to is a cerebral and emotionally devastating look at crossing borders, accepting loss, and what it really means to understand those who are different. To dive further into the plot would be a disservice to anyone who hasn't seen it, but what I can say is that the film is less concerned with the fiction part of sci-fi and more with what emotion the science part can elicit. More than anything, it proves that the most fascinating part of an alien movie has never been the aliens, but the humans.
Well, does this feel worse?
Maybe one of these bank robbers is gonna want a gunfight, and I can dodge my retirement in a blaze of glory.
Well, I seen you shoot. Won't be much glory in it.
The greatest westerns of all time were never about how cool the shootouts were, but about the turmoil behind the man willing to pull the trigger. And the modern-day Western heist thriller Hell or High Water viciously delivers nearly unbearable thrills, not only from its action, of which there is plenty, but from its well-fleshed-out characters, fascinating moral ambiguity, and overwhelming sense of somber fates that await its ensemble cast. The premise isn't breaking the mold of neo-westerns. Two brothers, played by Chris Pine and Ben Foster, the latter delivering one of the year's best performances, go on a string of bank robberies across West Texas while they're being tracked by an aging Texas Ranger played by the screen-dominating force that is Jeff Bridges. The whys and hows of their actions are the fascinating meat of the story that leads to an incredible climax, one of the year's best final scenes. While the bursts of action rank among some of the best the genre has produced in years, it's the quieter moments that make this movie what it is. A reminder that it's the silence after the gunshot that rings the loudest. Perhaps the most underrated and overlooked masterpiece of 2016 is the coming-of-age film Sing Street. This toe-tapping, soul-stirring mixtape of charm, wit, and killer songs is sure to develop a following as more people stumble across it over the coming years. But let it be known that it was always one of 2016's absolute best. When a young boy named Connor, newly inducted into the harsh realities of public school, finds himself crushing on the cool girl of the neighborhood, he only has one course of action available to win her over: form a band. The result is a coming-of-age film for the ages, one that evokes the most relatable of teenage angst, awkward moments, and occasional triumphs, and sets them to the best soundtrack of the year. Seriously, download the soundtrack now. It's incredible. The familiar themes of first loves, lifelong friendships, and family bonds are given a breath of fresh air here, as the film leaves us uncertain of what the future holds, but pretty damn sure it'll be set to a cool song.
I actually love this band.
Get out of here.
Hey, move at me!
Congratulations. You are being rescued.
As dark, violent, and brutal as any Star Wars film that's ever hit the screen, Rogue One stands as the type of prequel fans have always dreamed of, one that adds depth, insight, and ingenuity to the galaxy we're all so familiar with. Set just days, and at one point just hours from the iconic opening scene of A New Hope, Rogue One tells the story of those brave rebel soldiers who stole the plans to the original Death Star, setting in motion all of the events to the 1977 original film. Disney's first attempt at a standalone Star Wars story is nothing short of a home run. A dark and violent war film that stands as both a fan service to those who can pick out the countless Easter eggs, as well as a one-and-done film for the casual fans of our favorite galaxy far, far away. With actual stakes, raw human moments, and hands down the single best scene of 2016, Rogue One is an adult Star Wars movie for adult Star Wars fans and secures a solid spot as the best film in the series since The Empire Strikes Back.
You're rebels, aren't you?
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
More than any other film this year, La La Land reminded me of why I love movies. Because they make fantasy a reality, like a world where everyone breaks into song and dance. Because they make us feel raw human emotions for strangers we've never met, like a pair of struggling artists who were just trying to survive in Los Angeles. But more than anything, because they take our world, one we are all too familiar with, and allow us to see it in a way we've never seen it before. And that is the magic of La La Land. Through the magic of music and movie making, director Damien Chazelle weaves the bittersweet love story between a hopeful yet progressively realistic struggling actress played by Emma Stone and a down-on-his-luck but head-in-the-sky piano player played by Ryan Gosling, and a timeless slice of cinema that will be the closest we ever get to another Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers film. It's beautiful yet tragic, hopeful yet realistic, fantastical yet grounded. It's everything that stands as the foundation of a cinematic masterpiece, one that will never really leave your side. If it touches you the way it touched me, it'll leave you humming its tunes and staring out into the city of stars as you wonder how any film this year could ever dream of being better. Agree or disagree? Let me know. Facebook.com/Jake Hamilton, Fox 32 Chicago.